Yeah, we're live on YouTube. Yeah. Okay, that one's live. So I'm gonna let this let the song play out and then we'll get on here. Super. Yeah, legal ID super. There we go. That's what I'm drive me nuts. This audio second, excuse me. Hopefully they got that audio together. Oh, I did pull it already. I'm like a child. Excuse me. Okay, perfect. I'm like, I didn't pull it out. I'm like, I swear, dude. I knew we did about that. I'm serious. Hey, you guys. Hello, hello, hello. I forgot I was already on live on here. Oh, well. Y'all know it's live stream show. We got gospel on right now. The show before me is the gospel show, which is actually not too bad. I tuned in for a couple minutes. I was like, okay. It was hip hop gospel. I was like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. I'm down. Let's get it. Yeah. Yay. We've had some craziness going on, but it's all good. 1 minute to showtime. Boom. Cool. So if you go to Windy City, I share. So on the Windy City Facebook page, we're live now on there. Then we're gonna go live on air in a couple seconds. So I'm just making you got make 3. So
I'm 3.
yes, ma'am.
So flip it around.
Yep. No, right here.
It's 4.
The 4. Oh, 4 is fine. 11,
Oh.
11 was yeah. 4 works. 9. That's 4.
There we go.
So many. Why are we not doing? See, this one's bullshit I'm talking about. This is on manual. Why are we no? This is bullshit I'm talking about. Yeah, this thing's cutting up today. I was like, No, we don't want to do that. I'm saying, like you're telling me, like I'm like hitting things. I'm like, that's not what I hit. See, this is that book I'm talking about. Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
So this.
Yeah, so Facebook Live. Yep.
On Windy City.
But yeah, so this is on WindyCityUnderground.com. Facebook. Yep. Because the website is not actionary, but the Facebook Live is up, so we gonna be able to Facebook Live in a second. Because I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what this is acting crazy over here. I'm like, I'm trying to do this other thing. It's not acting right. I don't got time for this. I knew that's what it was. I was like, why is it doing XYZ? See, I have a manual on this thing. I'm transferring over. Yeah, this is some stuff. See, this is what happens when you're at a radio station with a whole bunch of people. They don't put stuff back together, right? So things don't want to act right. I was like, oh, we not finna so. Okay, so we're gonna go back to manual and see what we're doing here. Oh, the mic's are on. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm like, we not gonna do. Hey, it's Danaya Azure. This is Danaya Azure Radio. When it's the underground.com. Your music, your station. How are you guys today? Oh my goodness, this is a phenomenal day. Boom, let's get the recording going. Yay! The recording's going. The studio acting crazy, but y'all know we got a media school, so I have an amazing guest. It is Chyna Fox, who is in the building. She is doing so many phenomenal things.
I'm trying.
Chyna, oh my goodness. So I met this amazing queen. Was it? I want to say 2 years ago. Yeah, I think it was.
We met in person 2 years ago.
Yeah, we met in person. I think we met in person like 2 years ago. But I found her online because she went off with somebody on Facebook, and she had this amazing viral video, and I was like, who is this girl? and I just kept following her videos on Facebook and on YouTube, and she's an artist first and foremost. She's an artist, an amazing vocalist, songwriter, just doing the daggone thing. But the biggest thing is she talks about Black issues, and she's very adamant because she knows what she's talking about. So she makes sure that people understand. This is not my view. This is the facts. Sorry, I don't like it, but that this is the facts of what's going on right now. And so just talking to her, and then when I met her in person, it was so dope because I didn't even realize who she was because she was so quiet. And I was like, wait a second. I was like, she looks familiar, but I can't figure it out. And then I got to meet her, and she was just this most incredible person. Beautiful spirit. And I'm like, I don't care what y'all saying online. I'm not a person. Y'all better quit playing with me. Because I just met her in person, and she's absolutely amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet.
So you have been viral a couple of times, and I think the one thing I want to talk to you about is like, what have been the pluses and the minuses of that situation?
Oh my gosh, so there's a lot. It's not always what it seems to be. Should I turn this way?
A little bit,
Should I make it like this?
Yep, so it's turning a little bit towards you. Yep, so you can tilt it.
Okay, I can undo this.
Yeah, so
So it goes forward. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot of. First of all, I didn't mean to go viral. I mean, when I was a young actress and singer and all of that, yeah, the dream was to be famous and rich and all of those aspirations. But slowly, when I started to really, truly care about my craft in a personal way and even my expression, because the videos that I do and even the politics and things like that, it's a part of artistic expression.
Right.
And community, and so I didn't want to make that something to get famous off of or anything like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so when I made my the video that got my first 1 million views, it was just me bearing myself, just being myself.
Right.
And now that it's kind of transformed into something that is more popular and widely seen, and even being a YouTuber now, it takes on, it's a very precarious line. So I don't want to become a YouTuber and get, make money and get attention off of Black suffering, but at the same time, I have a perspective that I think that people tell me and that I feel needs to be heard. So at that point, it's just a very fine line of not bastardizing what's important and being able to get it out there.
Right.
So it's a very, very fine line. I don't want any my little taste of celebrity. I don't know about all that, because when I hear it, like me and Chris, my boyfriend Chris, we were just walking. We went to the gym. This was last week. We went to the gym. And all of a sudden, we just minding our business, talking our talk, making our little plan. And we hear Chyna Fox. And
wow.
at that point, you don't know if it's to fight or to
Right.
say, "Hey, I'm a fan."
Right,
So
right.
it's kind of I get a lot of anxiety. That's what
Gotcha.
I'm dealing with, a lot of anxiety. So it's just trying to keep to the plan, stay focused, but at the same time not let me take over the things that I'm talking about. Because what I'm talking about is more important than me and will last longer than me as a person.
Absolutely. And I guess my biggest question is, have you always been an activist, or did it grow the older that you got and the more that you saw and you're like, wait a minute, this is not the way it's supposed to be?
I think most of us have a strong moral compass. I think most of
Absolutely.
us have this ability to discern what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
But a lot of times when we're children, it's beaten down and it's
Mm-hmm.
quieted, or seen and not heard, or you'll get in trouble for saying how you feel or what you see or what you think, or even standing up for somebody else. You take the risk of
Yes.
getting beat up. And so I think a lot of that is killed in us. And so I feel like I have a commonality with a lot of people, except for when I was younger, I was allowed to speak my mind. I was allowed to ask questions. I was allowed to, I had my parents had my back,
Right.
even in
Hey,
school
girl.
and different things like that. So if that type of person was allowed to grow in me, and
Right.
I'm a Virgo, so I always think that I'm right. So there is that. But but even when I was young, I remember when I became vegetarian at the age of 12. And
Wow.
I rallied all of my friends. I had never heard of PETA before, and then I was just on the internet, and I don't know if they still do it, but back then they would ship you free stuff.
Oh,
So they would ship you
really?
free pamphlets and stickers and different things like that. So I was raised in Harvey, Illinois.
Right.
So I took to the streets of Harvey talking about
For y'all who have not see her face when she just said that, like
to the
she was like, I
streets.
was in Harvey, and I told them y'all need to stop eating meat.
I told the niggas I was walking door to door passing out pamphlets and stickers. And I took my friends along with me. And we was getting laughed at. We was getting stuff, the pamphlets thrown back at us. But you couldn't tell me anything because I believed in it.
Yes.
I believed it was the right thing to do. And I wanted to help people. It wasn't out of, trying to make people vegetarian. I just wanted to help animals, and I wanted to help my people.
Yes.
And so, I was very young then. So that was just something that's just who I am. It's just a part of who I am.
And I think it's very interesting how you talk about the fact that you were allowed to speak your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of these kids now are so stifled. They're so afraid to say anything. Like I know one thing that when I was in school, if I didn't want to do it and I had a good reason for not doing it, it wasn't getting done. Like it wasn't like the teacher said do this and we're just gonna do this. I'm like, I would be like, no, we're not doing this, and this is why I'm not doing this. And since you don't believe that I'm not doing this, talk to my mom. She'll go ahead and tell you why I'm not gonna do this, and y'all can just walk away. That happened on multiple occasions. You know what I'm saying? Like my mom was a firecracker. Y'all think I'm bad? Woo, bad. Well, you think I got it from? The very first protest I had, I was 7 years old. And because I started belly dancing at 6, and so my mom had a show.
Oh wow!
And I can tell the story now because I was announced before. I'm sure gonna tell it now. So there was a restaurant that a lot of what people don't realize, and when it comes to belly dancing, there is even though it's an African dance, there's a lot of people that don't like us that are a part of it, especially when it comes to the clubs. So we were at an Arab club. I forgot which one it was. I think it was El Karam. And the club decided for whatever. Hey, the club decided for whatever reason. I'm sorry, the restaurant decided that they didn't want to do the show. They canceled the show the day before the show. Now, mind you, we had people that luckily that was not the show we flew people in for. But people were coming from the suburbs and that were here. So we already had dancers booked for this. All we ask these fools to do is feed the dancers. You're not paying the dancers, you're just feeding the dancers because we're giving you a show on an off night. Right. They decided to cancel. Wow. So we decided to protest outside of their venue. And the best part about it was we right next to the fire station, the fire department didn't like them either. So we were able to protest in front of the fire station.
Wow.
Next to the venue. And the cops were coming by like, well, what do you want us to do? You know what I'm saying? We got all these beautiful women in dressed to the nines. And the mom was a belly that was a wardrobe designer. So like they dressed to the nines, sitting there talking about how we don't like the venue and don't come here.
Oh, wow.
I'm saying that was my experience at 7. The very first song I ever wrote was about the civil rights movement. Like, I've been doing this for a minute, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so I can definitely feel you when you say like that you were able to express yourself. These kids can't do that now.
Yeah.
They had these little kids so shook they don't even want to go to the washroom, and that's a whole nother conversation. How do you tell a child no to the point that that is too late? Like, how do you do that and be comfortable with that? But a lot of these parents won't say nothing, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you've seen the video or heard about the story about Wisconsin where they had the little slave run game or whatever, and I'm like, how did you convince the parents to allow their children to go to another state without their phones and treat their kids like slaves? I'm confused on how this occurred.
I'm not confused. I'm not confused at all. It's and one of the things that I've had to learn over the last couple of years is primarily people like to see me go off. People like to see me go off and read folks intellectually.
Right. Yes.
And one thing that I've had to learn in the last couple of years is to not be so reactionary.
Very
because
true.
being reactionary means that you aren't in control. It means that you are reacting to somebody else's stimulus.
Yes.
And so, it's very difficult. And, I used to think that maybe cold-hearted to be so calculated, but we have to be calculated. I cannot mourn for every person. I cannot be upset at every
you have no life
within the school.
Right.
It's not to say that it isn't upsetting, and it's not to say that it shouldn't be mourned.
Right.
But there has to be some people that sit down and really think about it, and not demonize the parents.
Yes.
So the task that I have is to really analyze why did this happen, or things like that.
Exactly.
Happen. It's because people still trust the state. It's because people still trust teachers. It's because people still have this old school mentality. Even when you tell a child to be seen and not heard.
Yes.
Even though you're not saying the words in 2019, you're still that is still having trusting the teacher, believing the teacher more than your own child, is still telling them to be quiet and just let us deal with this, instead of when I had a teacher in 5th grade. Her name was Miss Malone.
The way she just said that, y'all.
Miss Malone, she was not nice. Anybody who went to Martin Luther King Elementary School in Exmoor, Illinois, y'all knew Miss Malone, and she was not very nice. And she was very, very tough. And that wasn't necessarily the problem, but she was just downright mean.
Right.
Like, she would just say mean things. She was just super strict. We couldn't laugh. We couldn't play. And so one day, I led a revolt. I'm like, listen, we're not going. So she used to make us sit down and write times, right? She used to call me. So it'd be 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. I remember one time, I think I got up to like 14 times. And that meant that I had to write 28 definitions in our book 14 times. So it was pages after pages after pages. And every time you would get in trouble. So I went and I told my dad, I'm like, listen, Pops, this is what she's doing. My dad would go up to the school. She told my parents I was problematic and all this, because I was very vocal, very open, and she, I don't know, it upset her. And so one day she left out of the classroom. Right. And I led this revolt. Locked the door. So we locked her out of the class.
Nice.
I went and we, oh Lord, I don't think this is illegal now, but it's been 20 years. So we went, locked her out of the door, out of the classroom. I stole back everybody's times. I stole back, and I was passing them out. So she didn't know. She couldn't say
who did it,
who did what. So if we got trouble again, we just turn them in. And then I went and changed the grades in the grade book. And then we let her back in, and she didn't know anything because we were the ones who were grading in the first place.
Right, gotcha.
But that's just to say that you don't have to accept what your teacher says simply because they are the teacher.
Yes.
And even looking over that story of what had happened so many years later, I don't regret it. If anything, I probably should have gone further.
Yes.
Suffice to say, she didn't last very long at King. So I don't know what happened to her, but I hope she became a softer, nicer person.
Yeah.
And she had this really long rat tail that was going down her back. That just bothered me. Anyway, so and that also says that my parents believed me. Yes. When I said that something was wrong, when I said that this woman was treating me wrong, my father believed me.
Yes.
And he went up to that school and then he told me afterwards, teachers would do the same thing to him.
Yeah.
And nobody believed him.
Yeah.
She accused me of plagiarism. I wrote a book when I was 10 years old. I wrote a book.
Wow.
And I showed her this book, and she confiscated it and said that I stole it. She said that I stole this book
that you wrote.
How could you that I wrote? My father came up and all hell broke loose. So that's how I knew how to raise hell when something was wrong. It's because my father gave me that. And then he gave me the confidence to be able to
say something.
You
know, and that's I think that's the biggest problem that we have now is that these kids don't realize their power. And I say it all the time because I'm like, y'all sit there and y'all can make things trend, y'all can make it go viral, but what are you gonna do after that? Right. And it's always the wrong things. You know, like I said, Black Lives Matter started out good. Now it's like it's died down because it got watered down. But the idea wasn't a bad idea, but it's just now it's to the point where it's watered down, and I'm not even sure.
It's co-optation.
Yes.
And so when you co-opt the origins of Black Lives Matter, I believe had some good intentions.
Absolutely.
But once you start taking money from people that do not have your interest, they control you. And unless you have a plan for that, unless you really strategize and politicize everything that you do and think 10 steps ahead, then you're not going to be able to control the very thing that you created.
Absolutely.
And that's why I'm a huge critic of Facebook political culture, of Twitter. People have PhDs in Twitter, they got their master's degree in YouTube, and they undergrad in Facebook, and it's a damn shame. Yeah. And it needs to get to a point where we just stop eating whatever they put in front of us because it sounds good, because that is also reactionary.
Absolutely.
Even if you write a 100-page paper about it, that is still a reactionary thing to do, and it gets us nowhere, and it tires you out.
Absolutely.
So once everything falls through, then you don't want to fight no more.
Yeah.
Then you don't want to organize anymore.
Right.
So that's a problem right there. And I think that I had to learn that myself.
Yes,
I had
to get
burned out several times.
Because I remember there was a point where you were just like, I'm done. Like I don't even want to do this anymore. And I'm just like, no. You're like your voice is too powerful. You don't want to. But you had to take a step back and kind of rethink it. You know, I think something that was very valuable that you said. You're like, I'd rather have 20 loyal people than 1,000 people that don't care.
Yeah.
And I think that was an incredibly huge statement because you, like I said, you've gone viral. You've had thousands of people in your chest, and you're like, I don't even like I don't want this. This is not what I signed up for. This is not the feeling that I want. And I've had clients that have gone viral, and I'm like, is this what happens when you go viral? This isn't fair. Like, it's insane the amount of hate that you get. Because I'm like, did we throw the video into a MAGA group? Like, where did all this come from?
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it does happen.
I swear, I promise you it had to. Because I'm like, I'm not responding to this no more. Because I'm just making it worse.
I think what happened with me was like my really what happened was a huge turning point for me was Kanika Jenkins.
Okay.
And I haven't talked about that in a very long time.
Are you Here's the question. Are you comfortable talking about that situation at all, or do you want to completely stay away from it? It's up to you.
No, I think I'm okay with talking about it and discussing what happened because I think that taught me a huge lesson. At that point in time in my life, everything was changing, and hippie talk, it's called returning to Saturn.
Right.
So I've been returning to Saturn in your late 20s and your early 30s. They say you return to Saturn to become the person who you were meant to be.
Gotcha.
No matter what life in the past took you, you're finally getting back to that point.
Yes.
And what was interesting is I had just turned 30.
Okay.
I had broken up with this guy who I was seeing for a while.
Right.
I had made a trip to New York.
DC,
and
you was
DC,
going. Yeah, you
and
was,
I was just
traveling.
traveling.
You was
like,
all over the place. Mm-hmm.
I'm 30. Underground Wonder Bar had just
Yes.
closed down, and that had been around for almost 30 years.
Yep.
And so at that point, it was like all of these things were happening all at once. And when Kanika Jenkins was murdered, I had some people that I knew from my childhood who were closely connected to the case. And I saw how they were using this for personal gain. I knew who this person was, and I knew that a lot of people were going to be hurt because of this person.
Right.
And so I did what I thought was the best thing to do, and was to speak out and say, and try to clear up nonsense. But what happened was, they flipped it around on me and said that I was the one stealing money. Everything that they were actually doing, they accused me of doing. And so it was my city doing this. It was my city that I had worked for, that I took all these lashes for, that, white supremacist groups, and putting my picture up and my niece's picture up, and all this other stuff. They posted my mom's address. They did all these posted my father's picture. It was just incredible. All these lashes that I took, all these beatings that I took, and now you think I'm lying?
Right.
At the time when and I know maybe this sounds arrogant, but at the time that they needed to listen to me the most,
absolutely.
At the time they needed to listen to me the most,
absolutely,
they weren't hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
And they were falling back on this religious dogma. Oh, if you're not with this, then you're the devil.
Yes.
Oh, if you're not, they didn't really want the truth. They wanted sensationalized stories. So after that, my Facebook page got deleted. I had almost 100,000 followers on there. That got deleted because I had this rain of freaking craziness come on. But at the same time, the very day all of that hit the head, I met my boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
And when I tell you, I don't know what's up in the sky, and I'm not going to claim to know. But I do know
that was the turning point.
That was fate.
Yeah.
That I needed him in that moment. I need him to this day, because he keeps me calm. He's the very...
You can tell your whole personality's changed because of him. You can tell your whole energy has changed because of him.
My energy has changed.
Your energy is completely changed, and I love it. I love the way the dynamics that you both have together. I love the fact that you both are no, we don't you're I'm not getting control. We're working together on this. That's a big thing. I think for me, my thing was my biggest thing about the situation was because somebody asked me to go down there, when they were doing protests, and I was like, some just don't seem right. I don't know what it is, but some just don't seem right now. I feel like going to jail. So I'm like, nah. No. I didn't have this conversation when we had, what was it? Occupy Chicago. Because they kept on going to jail, and I was like, y'all keep on going to jail. I don't have jail bail money, so y'all keep on breaking the law. We just not gonna talk to y'all.
I got locked up with Occupy Chicago too.
I think I met you possibly. Probably. Because there wasn't that many black girls in there. Let's start begging. So possibly.
Listen,
man,
that's a whole nother
show. Lord, I was like, there's not that many black people leading this. I'm confused by this situation because we're getting affected by this the most. But y'all are the ones that are getting the credit all up in the camera. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But so I had the same mentality. I'm like, I'm not going to that protest. I'm not going. Yeah. So there's a story that's going around that they said that I went to the protest, that I attacked Jedediah Brown, that I did this, and I never went to the protest.
Right.
I was never there. I will say they confused me for somebody else. But the fact that they confused me for somebody else, had no proof, but were just going with this narrative.
And that's the problem, because they was lying, and then they're lying all over the internet, and it's like, but I didn't do that. What do you mean?
That never happened. A lot of the stuff that's going around literally never happened. So you asked me before, how do I feel about the being seen and being popular or having a lot of viewers? That part freaking sucks. Because I've never been lied on so much in my life.
Man.
But so I went down there to bail somebody out of jail.
Right.
I went and took my money to bail someone out of jail.
Right.
When I got there, there was a group of people who were pushing forth the lies.
Right.
They tried to jump me out in the parking lot.
Wow.
But I'm that one.
Right.
And I will, and I'm going to keep it to a minimum.
I got
nice
you.
People
of course.
on Facebook.
And YouTube.
But I'm that person, and I go in my car.
Right. Right. I got you.
So I went
to prevent that situation.
The person out of jail. I'm going to leave her name out of it as,
I got you.
respect,
of course. Absolutely.
Because she's still dealing with
that same mess?
The ramifications of what happened.
Wow.
And how all of that got tied in. But long story short, that was a turning point, and it allowed me to see that no matter if you're doing the right thing for the right reason at the right time, it can still have negative results.
Yes.
So now I have to plan and plot for that. Yes. Now I have to be prepared for that. And so that's why I think Chris is very, very beneficial to me as a comrade, not just as a lover or a friend, right. As a comrade in this liberation struggle. He taught me patience and how to plot and strategize, yes. And to not be so reactionary. So it's a constant fight. Yeah. You just got to keep it going.
You know, and I applaud you, because a lot of people would have been like, I'm done, like I can't do this, and you have kept it going. Because I'm like, you said Chyna Fox's name, and I'm like, who are y'all? What is wrong? Have you talked to the girl? Oh my God, are you just going off on YouTube saying, because you didn't even talk to the child? Like, but I'm like, people made their whole careers off of bashing you, and I'm just like, I'm going down the thing, and I'm like, wow, I ain't never seen you in a chat.
Isn't that funny? People get their most views talking stuff.
Man. but lying though.
Right? So what's funny is, so that whole thing happened, and it did teach me a whole lot. But I think that at this point now, it's going back to what I was saying. You can't be upset at everything. You can't have this visceral response to everything, but it's really taught me to plot and strategize and plan. Yeah. And that's basically, what I'm doing.
And that's what you've been doing. So we have issues with radio, but we will have the song up next week for sure, because I don't know what they're doing over here. I don't got time. But so what is going on with the new music? Are you looking to release a full album? Or are you just doing an EP? Like, what are your plans with your music? Because your vocals are on point. It's like,
thank you so much.
Because I remember because you don't really seem like you don't do lives. You don't do like lives where you just sing what you need to start doing karaoke, all that fun stuff. I think that would kind of kind of soften up the image, because it's a misconception. Like I'm like she's not always angry. I've met her in person. I don't think you understand. I really know how she is. Like, stop being mean to her. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, what is wrong with y'all? She's a beautiful person.
That's what I was gonna say. Anytime that you fight for Black people, you will be everybody's enemy, including Black people. If I don't want to, I have no intentions on exploiting Black people. Now, that's not to say I don't want to make money, that I don't want to be okay, that I don't want to be able to take care of my family, my future children. Yes. That's not to say that, but I don't want to do it at the cost of hurting somebody else. Right. But when you have that exploitative angle to you, more people are willing to support you for some reason. Mm. You know what I'm saying? If you read or look at there's a documentary that we just watched. I think it was called In the Wild or something like that, with Martin Luther King, and you saw like everybody wants to bring up Martin Luther King and they want to talk about how peaceful he was,
but they don't want to talk about why he got killed.
But he was still murdered. Exactly.
Yes.
He was, the reason why he got killed is because nobody had his back. That was the problem. Because nobody was loyal to the liberation of Black people. Yes. That's why. So when he was doing what he was doing, he was sounding crazy. Or you sound crazy. Or you sound, everybody wants to talk about and I don't want to offend any of your viewers, but when we talk about the church and him being in the church, everything Martin Luther King did was in spite of the church. It wasn't because of the church.
Yes.
He was, they abandoned him.
Yes.
Abandoned him. When he came to Chicago, they abandoned him.
Yeah, he had
never seen as much hatred and ferocity, even from Black people.
Yes.
So the people who should have been protecting him the most dropped the ball. That's why he was murdered. Same thing with Malcolm X. Same thing with anybody else that fights for Black people.
Absolutely.
You are going to be the, so if you cannot take that, if you can't deal with it, then you should probably not be in public or be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And it's still something that I'm questioning and going through. I told Chris he needs to be the celebrity, and I go work in the back in the court because listen, he'll be fine with it. But and along with that, the music. So I am releasing an EP, and I'm also writing a book. And
she'll be back on to talk about that.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
Awesome. So, so later on, I'm gonna be doing an EP. I haven't decided. I think 5 songs, maybe 6 songs.
Nice.
The songs that I sent to you, I may not even use those.
Okay.
Because I have so many
that
I'm currently writing and I'm currently doing some things, but I don't know if I can even say the name of the book, but it's Bitter Black Bee.
Right. Okay? Yes.
And so that is looking to be available for pre-sale in October.
Awesome.
And be released in November.
Awesome.
Untitled EP. I've got so many songs and so many things going through my head. So there's that. But and I also have a book club.
Yes.
We're going to be going through some radical changes very soon.
Okay.
But it's called Nubians for Literacy. We actually meet in Hyde Park every week.
I thought I knew that. I thought that location.
Yeah. We actually we were in the Polsky Center, but we have changed locations.
Okay.
So you can look for Nubians for Literacy. There's a Facebook group that you can find all of the information and the location and the address and things like that. But we meet in Hyde Park every week.
Okay.
And what we are doing is creating a culture of political education. And not just let me look at my phone and get mad at this video. Oh, I'm so mad. And then put the phone down and go eat McDonald's somewhere.
Right.
So that does nothing. So what we want to do is create a consistent line of resistance.
Right.
And we have to be educated in order to do that.
Absolutely.
So that's what Nubians for Literacy is for. We got brother Diallo Kenyatta.
Yes.
And of course, Miss Marshall. And it's been really good. We've had Rachel. They ran for alderman, I believe, of the 20th ward.
Okay.
They've been coming.
Oh, okay.
And so it's been really cool.
So, Lakina, can you go grab my gas? Thank you. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing.
It's been working out pretty well. So I think what's happening now, to be perfectly honest, with the climate all over the country, with all of this Pan-Africanism versus ADOS versus
which I still don't understand.
versus SBA and all this other stuff, we're getting to the point where we have to chill out.
Yeah, we do, because we ain't trying to go to jail and all them things.
And if you notice, like all these personalities on YouTube and Facebook, they really don't have anything to talk about anymore except for fighting each other.
Which is really weird because there's so much that's going on. There's so much content out there.
But when you don't read, there's only a certain point that you can go to. When you don't study what you say your craft is, there's only a certain point that you can go to.
Right. Oh my God.
So when we have the book club, when we have these, we're reading right now. We're reading Class Struggle in Africa by Kwame Nkrumah. That is not easy. That is not Zane. Okay. That is some really difficult work.
Yeah.
But when you read it, woo!
Exactly.
You really start to understand what's happening.
Yep.
So then you can effectively fight.
Exactly. Okay, so this is Jason McQueen, study photographer, is in the building. He's here from New York.
Hey,
so he's going to be my co-host for the rest of the show. I have my other guest is here. Go ahead and grab her real quick. So I'm going to go ahead. We'll try this music then. See.
You got guest after guest today.
I do. I got to keep it. I got to keep it popping. Let me go and grab my other guest. Chyna Fox is amazing. You will love her. She's incredible. So we got this music going right now. We'll be back in a room with you.
Oh, let's go on me. Hi, girl.
Guys, it's so on you. I'll be right back. This kid is right here.
Hey, Octavia.
Excuse me.
Oh man, yours is almost automatic.
What? Oh,
Your
yeah.
YouTube live.
Yeah. There you are. Oh, hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Thank you. We got a chair for you. So this is Chyna Fox.
Hey.
Jason McQueen. He's here from New York.
What's your name? Laquita.
Jason saw you in the hallway.
So I can hold this on
Oh,
up.
yeah, I need my crap. And I do mean crap. It's been one thing after the other today.
New
So let's
York.
switch the mics around. I'm gonna give you mic 2, and I'm gonna take mic 1.
There works.
Just keeping switch stuff around. We have a meeting today about other stuff, and I'm sure we're talking about look, I'm gonna need you gotta understand how this works, and how this doesn't work. Three and I'm her 4.
My babies are dying. I
Hey.
had a meeting with Erica.
Oh yeah.
She's working on Empire. I was like, we can have that meeting.
Yes.
I will make that meeting.
Awesome. This is your mic 4.
Okay. Go ahead, Lita. Thank you. Hey, it's lit.
Excuse me.
Hey, Bart.
So, Akita is in PR. She's doing some amazing things. She's actually one of my best friends is one of her clients, and so I had to have her come on because she's just killing the daggone game. He hit me yesterday, he's like, hey, can I come through? I was like, hey, you can come co-host for sure. You know, meet these fabulous women. He's an amazing photographer from New York, so I've been working with him for a couple of years now, doing some really dope stuff. We did some
You
stuff
live
in
in New York
Kentucky.
now?
I do.
What part?
He had a workshop.
Bronx. Actually,
Okay.
have a meeting after this and go right back.
Oh.
LA tomorrow. I'm like,
What's the guest
What?
access? We are live.
Yeah, we are live
Tonight?
24/7.
to LA
Capital
tomorrow.
W.
bags and go to LA.
Yeah, capital W,
and go to
small,
San Francisco
capital W,
for like a
small,
day,
small,
yeah.
A-R-E, capital L.
Relax.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Coming
good.
back,
Good.
I'll have
Okay,
a few
good.
days of just shooting,
There you go.
relaxing.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, my best friend, he moved. He moved from here to New York, and then he moved from New York to LA.
Everyone's doing that, but you know what's funny? All my friends who moved to LA are now moving back.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Like they're like,
I don't know what's going on. My friends that moved to LA are never coming back.
Yeah.
They are never coming.
Yeah.
I'm like, so we're not coming back.
Right, no.
Never.
I'm
No.
trying to rob myself.
They actually do it. Well, they're all artists too. So
Yeah.
they're doing
Yeah.
very well. Very, very well.
The actor friends I have moved to Atlanta, and then it
What
feels
is that?
like fashion's moving to LA now. Because
I've heard.
a lot of my photographer friends are going there and they're like, you need to come. I'm like, I
Because
hate LA,
because
though.
because
The thing is, like, I'm a New Yorker, so
Okay, so
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
you definitely hate LA.
yeah.
oh, you are so beautiful, you're great. As soon as you leave it, I'm like, oh, she's such an ugly bitch.
Yeah.
But, it's like,
Yes.
but you hear it. Like, it's not even they wait for you
It's
to
like
leave.
right. It's like I was down.
I was literally
right there.
right on the edge of the corner before you started talking
Right?
crap.
Can you wait?
But you know what, though?
That's the weather, though.
They kind of got that in Chicago, too.
That's what I
Yeah.
said,
That
and
is
that's
true.
why I'm
That
moving.
is
I'm
true.
like, oh, it's so fake in California. I'm like, Chicago's the same way.
But
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
should I be
Yes.
fake and cold or fake and
And
warm?
sunny.
I like that.
I love it. Going back on in 2 minutes, guys.
Dang on phone.
Yeah, but that's true though, because it's like am I gonna fake here or am I gonna fake there? You know, but it's interesting. I'm going to LA April 20th for the working at an event.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to Vegas first, and then we're driving to LA
Mhm.
after that, and then I'm back in Vegas May 3rd for Life After Sports.
Phew.
And before that, I'm going to Kentucky, so I'm literally gonna be home for a day, jump on a plane, and then I'm gone for like a week. You know,
That's
and
good.
Welcome to the life, girl.
right, yeah, I know, trust
Rack
me,
up those
no.
points on the
Yes,
Delta.
for real.
Where? but like, it's interesting because this is a program that I remember when we were first talking about it, and now like we've done it we've done it 4 times in Vegas. She's done it in Texas, Jersey, done it two times in Chicago.
It's awesome.
This is the second time doing it in LA. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it. And it's a beautiful program, so I'll talk a little bit about that. The big reason I'm so glad that y'all are here is because I want you to talk about your struggle as a PR person
Oh,
in
there's
Chicago.
There's many struggles
Because-
about moving.
You know what I'm saying? For real, like, I'm like, and you can be honest, we are FCC regulated, but aside from that, you know what I'm saying? Talk about it for real, because people don't really get it, like what the real grind is, like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
People
Like how
see
you.
the glitz and glam on Instagram
I wanna hear
and
this.
Facebook.
I know, I
It's so
figured
hard.
I'm trying to hear this.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
no, it
42
is so
seconds.
hard.
Yeah, it is. So we're gonna get off of this craziness because I'm so over y'all. Child. Like I said, I'm hitting buttons. It's not accurate. I'm like, I guess not for y'all. We're not doing all that. We're not doing that today. No. What's not gonna happen today?
Right.
Not gonna
But
do
we
it.
not gonna.
What we
do
not
it.
gonna do? Because he's like, it's not. I'm like, I can't find anything. Like, it's, music is playing. That doesn't mean anything. If it's not, I can't find it. Then look, there's on it. Hey.
I just shot. Oh, I'll tell you on there.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. I love it. I love it. Yes. Hello. And we are back. We got, so we got Chyna Fox in the building. Jason McQueen that's here from New York.
Good.
Lakita Washington
Hey.
is in the building as well. An amazing PR agent. Shout out to Ali Joseph. Lunch party though.
Yes.
The food, the drinks.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Like I love Ali. She's doing some amazing things. Her schedule's on crazy on Mondays. We're going to get her on the show really soon. We gotta definitely get to make that happen because I love working with her
Yeah.
on air. Such a beautiful person. Jason called me yesterday like, hey, can I come through? I was like, sure, not only can you come through, but you can come guest co-host. Let's go ahead and do that. And of course, y'all have been tuned in. Chyna Fox is the bomb.com. Yeah, like man, Google her name. She's doing some phenomenal things. Trust me.
Wait a second now.
Wait, Google her name. Wait.
Don't go too far
I
down.
love your earrings.
Oh, thank you.
Oh. What you know about the Sankofa, girl?
Listen, what you know about
I
the
know all
Sankofa?
about the Sankofa. girl.
Hold on, wait a second now.
So Jason just did a very amazing workshop. My schedule was so booked, it wasn't even happening. It was like I was gonna try to go, but then I got the email from C2E2 that they wanted me that I could come do
I
press
don't
for
even want to
free.
hear about C2E2. I wanted to go so bad. And I had time, and I went. They're like, "We're sorry, registration is closed. We don't have any more tickets." I'm like, "You just let 3 people in."
My brother went.
It was
Sure
so
did.
crazy.
Shade.
It was it was so crazy though because, you know, I had never been. I was like, one of my teachers, Dana, was like, you know, it's easy to go and just type in whatever profession you want to do. And I was like, all right. So I didn't get anything back. I hit him back last week. I was like, hey, I still haven't got anything back. What's going on? And so they're like, reapply. I reapplied. I literally got the email, I want to say a couple of days beforehand, which now I know. The next time I get that first email, I'm emailing all the managers because it's harder to get in contact with the celebrities that you want to meet. However, what was dope though was I heard this laughing and I was like, man, because I went to the interview with Lisa Silverstone, Donald Faison and whatnot, and so like, and so they're doing this panel with the cast of Clueless. So I got that on the K Fresh CNC page on Facebook. Make sure I go and check that one out. Got that whole panel on there. And then as I'm leaving, got to meet Daryl McDaniels, Run DMC, as I'm leaving with no question. I was just like, oh my God. Like, it was so, I was like, because I'm walking past and I'm just like, is it somebody in costume? This can't be the real person. Whoa, Run DMC is in the building. Like, he's got this comic book that he's doing, working on movie projects and television, and he told us all this all on camera. Again, also on K Fresh CNT. You can go ahead and check that out on Facebook. It was awesome because I was sitting there like, no, I'm not gonna get my interviews or whatever, but I really did have a good time in the couple hours that I was able to be there. And then I went out south and we're working on some really the music venue. So got an event coming up this week, and so I was blessed to be able to start working on that project. But it's been so crazy. But I've seen the photo, I've seen the video. Jason and Leslie get together, honey. The models slay.
Oh, they really did.
They did. I saw it. I really saw the beautiful energy.
I had a little surprise for them.
I saw the OM glow.
Oh no, more than that. So the second day, I said I was going to take one person to a surprise fashion show. Ended up taking all 4 of them to the Walk fashion show. They absolutely slayed it. I mean, I have to give my girls, like, I think the thing that we had, and it goes back to what you were talking about earlier, when you learn something and you're paying money to take a class, you're getting absorb it.
Yeah.
And then that way, when you go to speak to someone, you see someone who's not professional, you can separate yourself. And of course, there were some people around that particular fashion show that was not part of Walk Fashion that were very unprofessional. And they were literally seeing what I taught in action. And it's just watching, in 2 days, these girls that didn't know anything about it just act more professional than half the models I've actually worked with.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what's so beautiful. Like, short backstory, I met Jason because he worked with Sherry Gerher, who is the founder of Live Out Loud charity, when she was walking in New York. And so, like, and I had heard about him, and I was like, who is this guy? He seems cool. And so we just started talking on Facebook, and then Sherry was like, yeah, he's gonna come and shoot Kentucky. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so I got to work with him on set, and amazing, so much fun.
I need to get you to New York.
Yes.
So,
I'm back
just
in
you and me shooting in the studio.
Yes, we gonna work on that. Trust me, we definitely gonna work on that. Cause I need to be traveling more.
Do any of you guys know who Avery Wilson is?
Sounds familiar.
The gag.
Oh,
Y'all need to
no.
Google. Avery Wilson was on season 2 of The Voice.
Yes,
he
he's
made
on-
it to
okay.
the finals, and we did a behind the scenes. I did the behind the scenes shoot of his newest photo shoot. And sometimes you think that like, oh well, people aren't what they look like in person. They put on a show. That boy had me cracking up. Left and right, and what he does is like what Mariah does, like, girl, you need to shut it up, and you'd be like,
I see you have vocals.
I can run,
He
but
has
I
many
can't stop.
talents. I love it.
But he
I
said
love
something
it.
paramount too. He said, when you're working, no matter what you're discussing, know what you're talking about,
Absolutely. Yes.
and
Please.
be able to back it up.
God, please.
And if you don't know, it's
Shut
okay.
up.
It's okay to say,
I don't know.
let me do some research on that and I'll get back to you.
Let me get back to you.
Simple.
Let me get back to you.
Right.
Come
That's
on.
it. Simple, real easy. But people want to talk and charge. That's right there. And charge you, and then you're correcting them and like, I paid you for this information, but I know more than you do. I'm not understanding how this is occurring right now. Like, what are we doing?
Happens a lot, all the time.
Absolutely, and I think, and the one thing that I saw from Jason, especially working with him when we went to New York, shout out to Jesse, because man, Lama slaying.
Miss
Prayers,
Torres.
yes.
Hey, little sis.
Hey, Mama, Jesse and Shelly, prayers and condolences on the loss of your grandfather. Like, it
Oh my
was,
gosh, I just now found out.
and
I'm so sorry, guys.
You are definitely in my prayers. You are amazing.
It's tough.
I am so proud. I'm so proud of you for what you have overcome. I think y'all don't understand. I tell people all the time, you do not know what happened before that photo shoot. The models that we work with are a lot of them are recovering from being bullied or suicide attempts. So these are people that don't have that self-esteem necessarily. But Sherry and Live Out Loud Charity helps to push that, to explain how valuable you are, how special you are, how powerful you are, how much you can get done if you just believe in yourself. And that's where those bad photos come from. The fact that we are instilling in them and telling them how amazing you are. And like I love Jessie to death, and to see what she was going through, I was like, you are too fabulous for this. Get it together, let's go shoot. Slay that photo shoot, slay that shoot, and continue to slay every shoot after that, because it finally clicked. That they're saying this mess because they're jealous.
Yeah, I was
That's
telling her
the
the other
only
day.
reason. They're saying this mess because they're jealous, because they want to be me and can't be me.
Or there's something about her that they want.
Oh, they want to.
It's always
her
something that
makeup
has nothing to do
skills.
with
Oh
you.
no,
It's
yeah,
someone's making
yeah.
fun of you. It has to do with the person making fun of you.
Yeah.
Don't pity yourself. Pity that person from having the lower self-esteem than you do.
Yes.
Because what it is you get power.
Yes.
You get power from putting
Yes.
somebody else
Oh, yeah.
down, but you can take that power right back by just saying, "I am so sorry that you feel that way. That you got to call me that." You get what I'm saying? But
Absolutely.
girl, I don't even talk about that. I get
Absolutely.
teary-eyed.
But listen, when you think about that, and it's just, this is misconception about models and actresses. These are regular people that have worked their butts off to get where they are. We're not talking about the ones that they just found, whatever on YouTube that are being reaction. No, these are girls and guys that have really, truly worked. Jason is a model coach. I've seen how he works with those girls. 5-6 hours in heels, getting it popping. But those shows show that rehearsal. You look at our videos and you can tell why they're polished, because him and Leslie go in on those girls and guys, but when they walk at that runway, they're solid.
Yeah.
All those all those fears and everything that they were thinking, because a lot of them are nervous, they're new, but they're polished and it looks professional, and that's what's important.
But I think you said something paramount, and I think she probably, well, I think I don't know you very well, but I think you probably can back it up too. But having worked with celebrities, and not even on a photo standpoint, back when I danced, seeing when someone would come into rehearsal, someone huge like Janet, or back in the day with Paula Abdul and things of that nature.
Right.
You see all this glitz and glam. You see this, hi, how are you, Janet? Thank you so much. And go, ga. But when it's like 8-hour rehearsal days and they're chilling, they have to go to another interview. They have to go to an interview after that. They have to hit a plane. During that plane, the managers went, okay, so we're going to do this when you landed, da.
Yep.
When they get home, they're so exhausted.
Yes.
The makeup comes off, that wig comes off,
Yes.
the glam comes off, the boobs sag a little bit. Because what you're seeing is corsets. You're seeing tight bras. You're seeing snatch. There's a trick where they pull the hair to the back with tight tape. And so what you think is going like this in the shot is actually like this when they get home. So don't sit there and think because they're beautiful and grand and all this that they don't have their own self-conscious problems at home. I've actually seen it live on a photo shoot where someone just literally was crying because she didn't like the way she looked. I won't say the celebrity's name, but she literally was like, I don't like it. And she had a moment, had everyone leave. But, I just to touch off what you
Tell
said.
us afterward.
Right.
Right.
But I think in your experience, and especially with BPR, do you think that image that's being portrayed by celebrities and high-end influencers, because now influencers are
Influence
huge,
our celebrities
Yes.
now.
what do you think? How do you think that, as far as like someone who's watching that and saying, "Oh, I want to be like that," is that something that a girl should aspire to, or should they probably try to find their own lane and create something new? What do you think?
So I tell a lot of my clients, and then I have a couple celebrity clientele now. I let them know to stay in their lane. Focus on the end of the tunnel. Don't worry about your competition. Don't worry about any influence that are coming up, because what you is for you at the end of the day. You can look at somebody and pull information to set yourself up for the end goal.
Yes.
You know, but don't try to compare yourself or feel as though you're in competition. If you're in competition, be in competition with yourself.
Yes.
You know, always look at, okay, where do I want to go? Where do I want to be? And how I'm going to get there.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's
That's
it.
good advice.
Absolutely. You know, I think the biggest thing when it comes to PR comes to social media management, social media promotion. Like I think a lot of people forget. All for all y'all social media managers out there, I'm gonna need you to understand this is not your page. This is your client's page. BET sitting there BET sitting there right now trying to figure out how to recover because their social media manager forgot that was not their page.
I'm
How
lost.
do
What happened?
how
You know what though? I kind of think that it's a little bit deeper than that because
Mm.
I don't think that it's an individual basis. Look at what's happened with
You know
BET.
what? I agree with her. I don't think it was an individual basis.
What
either.
happened? I'm lost.
So this is a reoccurring thing. So BET, I don't know if you're talking about this
Nicki
particular
Minaj?
thing.
Because, yeah.
I remember
They did
that.
it with Nicki
I remember
Minaj.
that.
They did it with Cardi B. They've
Yeah.
done okay. So Nicki Minaj,
Someone's
Cardi B
posting
accepted
personal stuff
an
on the page.
award. She won a
Grammy.
Yeah, she won a Grammy,
Okay.
and they threw some shade. Basically said that Nicki was sitting at home or something. I don't even remember.
I
What did
think
she say?
Cardi snatched Nicki Minaj's wig or something like that.
Yeah, how is Nicki gonna respond? And Nicki was like, I didn't say anything, I didn't do anything. Y'all are trying to pit us against each other, and it's disrespectful. I think that's kind of BET isn't owned by us.
Agreed.
They're not gonna
Yes.
empathize with us.
Agreed.
They're not gonna make that a point to say, hey, let's not pit these two black women against each other.
Agreed.
And even when they were black owned, they were still neo-colonialists. So they didn't have any regard for us. They act like the people who own them act.
Well,
So I think it's more of a what did you expect sort of situation. That's just me.
See,
Right.
and I think it was for the culture, you know, what the culture is.
Ex-
Nicki
yeah.
Minaj and Cardi B are or were at odds.
Right.
So they're just going with
Playing off of that.
playing off of it. You see McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, they go at it all the time on Twitter.
Oh my
So
God.
I think that's what they were trying to do.
Apple
I
and
think it was
Samsung.
supposed to
But
be
it-
like a funny thing and it went wrong.
It was
I
so
think,
wrong.
I think
It
they
was so
go
wrong.
at each other all the time,
Mhm.
but they're in on the joke.
Oh, the
Nicki
guy.
was not in
Of
on
the
this
joke,
joke. Like she
exactly.
was not a part of that process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shout out to whoever runs Wendy's Twitter because I was like,
Oh,
what
yeah.
in the world? I had
Wendy's
no
Twitter
idea.
is cracking.
I'm going in on everybody. I'm like, yeah, pay them more because they're killing y'all. Like, I love it, you know. But it's I think I see that because people don't realize if you are managing someone's page, you're helping to build their brand, right? So like, I have an account that I'm working with now. It is not okay for you to steal the freaking logins. Like these are the things that people consistently do. That is not what that does is that just puts your name out there as a thief. It's wrong. It makes it harder for the other people. I've had clients where I built their brand and they let some random chick come in there and be like, yeah, my girl's a social media manager. They break up. What the heck happens? I have to fix that or attempt to. And I'm mad because I'm like, what do you mean all my content's gone because you broke up with some chick? Excuse me? You gave her all your information and now you want me to fix it? Seriously?
Right.
How did this occur? I'm so confused. But the thing is that people don't, they have these interns that don't realize that if you are in an internship, the purpose of that internship is to get a check. If you are in that internship and you just throw it away afterwards, you've thrown away your opportunity because you want it to be messy. And what that does is that puts your name in the streets as being messy and nobody wants to hire you because you are untrustworthy. When somebody trusts you with their brand, treat it like your own.
Exactly.
That's how you win.
Exactly.
That is why you're gonna build your clientele, is because you are treating your brand like it's your own. Shout out to Chyna, he is our career service manager, and he is actually blind. He has literally seen one thing that I have done, but he has recommended me to people that are telling him that she's incredible. And he literally went off of what he heard about what I can do. That means so much to me because the clients that I'm working with now, because of him, I'm just like, wow, I wouldn't have had those connections had he not told them. Like I said, he hasn't seen my work. He's just heard about what I can do. And you know what I'm saying?
So just kind of what I was talking about earlier, the versus being organized and reactionary.
Yes.
So like what you were saying, it's the culture.
Yeah.
People are doing things because it's trendy, because it's
Yeah.
fast,
Yes.
and
Yep.
they're not understanding. They're not looking at the long game.
Yes.
Okay, so if I do this because it's a trend now, what is this going to cost me later?
Exactly.
The internet doesn't go away, and your reputation definitely doesn't go away.
I tell people all the time, if you are on social media, Google yourself at least once a week so you know what's going on, because because you gotta pay attention. You gotta pay attention to what you're tagged in.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to what you tagged in, you can have some ratchet stuff going on and you won't even know. Like I had a client that I had to, like that I was working with, and she was like, I'm having all this crazy stuff come up on my social media. I don't understand it. She got thrown in a whole bunch of ratchet groups, and I was like, this is why you're having this problem. She's like, oh. And I got together. I was like, by the way, I'm unfriending a whole bunch of people because they ratchet, so I don't want to see them, so therefore they're gone. And she's like, fine, because she needed to get cleansed, and so we got that together. Now she's able to see all the amazing people she has in her timeline. Cause she's connected to all these other people that I know, and I'm like, why don't you see them? You're seeing all this. Oh, we gotta fix this.
Well, I mean, that's not even that. I mean, it goes further than that. If a client potentially is looking at you and they see you tagged and stuff.
Yes.
I just taught that in my class. It goes, well, I don't understand why I can't post me having fun with my girls. I was like, okay, let's say that you're going to go with a company whose big thing is about organics and being pure and true to yourself, and you're over here drinking 3 liters of vodka and smoking weed.
Yes.
Why would I hire you about that? And at the end of the day, why are you posting that in the first place?
Exactly.
Because I'm having fun, but that's between you and your girls.
Right.
And even
Exactly.
still, and I think this is where I get a lot of flack back. This is switching a subject matter, but I kind of want to touch on it because someone who's watching about it.
Right.
But like, even all 4 of us, like we go out and have a drink, that's fine. We have a drink, we get to know each other, we
Right.
Oh my
network
gosh.
together, and there's a
Right.
purpose behind it.
Exactly.
What do you do? How can we work with each other? How do you work? If I don't know y'all and y'all ain't doing nothing and y'all talking about, oh, I'm just chilling home with my man, ain't no way in hell I'm going out with you. Because at the end of the day, I can spend the money that I'm spending on these drinks on something more productive.
Exactly.
Yep.
Go out with a purpose, post with a purpose.
Absolutely.
And that's how she and I met, is in person.
Yes.
It's because I'm a musician. I do a lot of live shows. I do a lot of double book this weekend. I got a lot of things, but I don't really consider that going out. But even when I do go out, I want it to have a meaning. I want it to have a purpose. I'm too old for that. I'm too old for this. Let's just go get messed up and fall asleep in the bathroom. So,
Pictures of it, one booty hanging out, fire crotch,
and so when I was, we were at Refuge,
Yeah,
right?
we were at Refuge because it was an all girls lineup. Shout out to Bianca Shaw. That's who you had came to see, and I went to go see Yaya because that's the girl I've been working with for.
Right, and I'm
over a
working
minute.
with
Yeah.
Bianca had her guitarist.
Yes,
That's
yeah.
who I'm working with.
You know.
And so shout out to Jesse Parks.
Yeah.
But it has to be something else. Like, so when
Exactly.
I'm in that space, I'm meeting a bunch of different musicians. I'm meeting a bunch of different artists. I can connect them to my band. They can connect me to their band, and we could swap out and network.
But I think me and you talked about this, but I took two or three life classes over the past 3 years, and the one thing that's paramount, and I stay with it with everyone I talk to, I meet, the 6 people that are closest to you, whether it's friends or family, that you talk to the most, that you text the most, that are close to you, are a representation of who you are becoming or who you are.
Absolutely.
So if I'm successful, she's successful, you're successful, but you're over here chilling, you're pulling all of us back.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I want to start
So-
taking on that trait. Because at some point I have to nurture that friendship. So that means I'm gonna have to nurture whatever the heck you're doing.
Yes.
So that goes into what you just said.
Yes.
You know, girls and guys today are like, I wonder why I can't get nowhere. It's because John, Joe, and Tom are over there, smoking weed on the thing, saying, let's go out and party and get some chicks. That's cute for you if you're like 17.
Exactly.
But even still, in today's time, you can't do that, even at 17.
No.
Tyra Banks' mom told her, are you going to model? Yes, mommy. Is this what you see yourself? This is what I want to do with my life. Well, you're not going to do it half-assedly. We're going to create a brand because at some point your ass going to get old. It's in her book.
FCC regulated.
And she created a production. But I'm thinking about it. If you notice who she hangs out with, everyone that she hangs out with is doing something major.
Exactly. And it's okay to have your friends drop off. Sometimes they were for a season.
Yes.
You know, and I think a lot of
Come on.
entrepreneurs, starting up, your friends are not gonna get it.
Yeah.
And so,
And don't let them make you feel bad about
exactly.
it.
Don't let
No.
them make you feel bad because they are going to eventually drop off. If they don't see the vision or that they're not trying to better themselves, they're going to fall off eventually, and it's okay. If they were real friends, they might come back around.
Right.
Eventually. But
When they get their stuff together.
I think there's especially for me, like coming up, I don't have kids, but most of my friends have children,
Right.
and most of my friends weren't artists. Most of my friends were regular people.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there was a point where we did kind of all just break apart, and they went to go do their own thing, and I went to go do my own. But you're right, eventually you come back around. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who will try to attach themselves to you because they have nothing going on.
And you're their source of life.
You're their source of life, and eventually they suck you dry and then leave you dry. So that's a good one too. And I think it's professionally and socially.
Yes.
It's like that as well.
Well, I have a question for y'all.
Uh-oh.
'Cause I love hearing this. So here's the scenario. I had a person that I considered a very close friend. I almost consider her a sister. We worked together. She's a designer. I helped her out. I've sent her assistants, all this, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I don't know why. To this day, I have not found out why. Something happened where she just did not like me. And I'm the kind of person, she'll tell you, I'm very real. I do not sugarcoat nothing. I thought, girl, you piss me off. Girl, you piss me off. I expect the same. Jason, I need to talk to you. A, B, C, D, F, G. So anyway, this girl spread a bunch of false rumors, and I'm the kind of person, you don't react to rumors. You allow rumors to do what they do and fade. Because when you react, then you look like maybe they have truth to them. I always believe truth will always succeed, which it did. So me and this person split. I cut her off. She was dead to me. I'm like, you're bad energy. You're dragging me down.
Right.
I'm done with you. So come here. It's a year and a half later. I go on Snapchat. She's like, hi, Jason. I know it's been a while. We've had a rocky road, and I did some things to you that I may not have been great and disloyal. But I think we need to hash it out and talk. My gut says, bitch, bye.
Remember?
Well,
No, sir.
FCC,
Oh, my bad.
FCC.
Sorry. That was itch. I'm itchy. Girl, bye. Sorry, that's my mouth. I have a mouth. But no, my first initial was like, bye, child. I ain't got to do with it. But then my friend was like, Jason, people do change.
Yeah.
People do change. I was like, yes. But when you disrespect my loyalty and you betray me, you have to earn that spot back.
Yes,
And
that part.
You have to
That part.
prove to me
That part.
that you've earned a spot. And he's like, well, Jason, you're acting arrogant now. And I'm like, I'm not arrogant.
No, it's not. No.
I have a specific circle of friends, and I have a protection over who I am.
Right, and if you're out that circle, you have to earn your way back. Not even earn your way back in, just earn your way to closely, possibly get near the circle.
Whoever said that you were arrogant, watch out for them.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, that was
Be
totally
careful
too.
of them.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Because if they say that you're arrogant, I remember the first time I got called arrogant. I think I was 11, and it was one of my mother's friends. I kind of was a butthead, but she used the word wrong, and I just told her what the word actually meant. So, and I got called arrogant. My mother defended me. She didn't allow me to be silent. But at the same time, people who don't have a standard for who they involve themselves with,
We'll call you arrogant.
no, they just
Or
you
they're
can't trust
intimidated
them.
by you.
Yeah.
Usually that's the
That's what it
case.
is.
Usually that's the
My
case.
mom told me there's no such thing as arrogance or cocky. She's like, there really isn't. There are people that are jerks about who they are.
Right.
But when you see someone, let's say Jennifer Lopez walked in. She's a successful woman. She can sit there and say, oh, well, I'm a dancer, singer, entrepreneur, and I own everything. That's not being arrogant. That's a fact.
Right.
This woman
So
owns
facts.
this stuff, and she works her butt off for it.
Exactly.
So I know people that call her arrogant for that. I don't call her arrogant. I don't think there is such thing because I feel like society has pushed us, especially women, because my mother has heard some things, and I've been in rooms that if a woman is successful, she's cocky, she's way too much, she's doing the most. But if a man's super successful, yes, he's an inspiration. It's like, no.
Oh, he's confident.
He's
Right,
confident.
yeah.
He's sure of
What's the
himself.
daggone difference?
That's a
There's
boss.
Yeah.
That's boss.
Women
Right,
can be
yeah.
bosses.
Usually we're itches.
Yeah.
According
Yes.
to them.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would say, I mean, so I'm kind of going through a similar thing.
Okay.
So I had a friend who, we were discussing this before you guys got here. There was something else that happened early last year, right? And people are just lying and spreading rumors and doing all this other stuff. And so I'm letting that happen. Let the rumors happen. Because if you argue too much, you look defensive.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, boom, just let them
Well,
happen.
when you got
I know the
vindicated,
truth.
like,
I know what happened, and
woo,
the
man.
evidence is there.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If people want the truth, they'll find it. So I get a screenshot. Somebody texts me a screenshot, and it shows my one of my closest friends ever is on a Facebook thread asking questions about me.
Ooh.
So I'm like, okay, wait a second. Let me check my phone.
Mhm.
'Cause I
Right.
missed the text message. I
Right.
missed the call.
Right.
Baby, I
It's a
went and
good
checked
time.
my email. I'm like, she had to have emailed me or something. Nothing. So now that's betraying my loyalty.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's you're having a discussion about me and saying, oh my God, if she did that, that is so awful and all this other stuff. Like, girl.
Wow.
You didn't even check the
Wow.
validation.
Right, you didn't even call.
Yeah,
You had a
so
conversation.
now
See?
she's probably watching this right now, and I love her, but I love myself more.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I've learned that when somebody betrays you and you forgive them, that's why boycottforgiveness.com. Chris and I are running boycottforgiveness.com because the only people that I need to forgive is right here. I can forgive myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can't continuously hurt me and then just come back into the
Exactly.
fold.
Yeah.
And then I've done that before, and you wind up, you don't get stabbed in the back this time, you get stabbed in the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a hard lane. You gotta have that person, whoever did that, they have to earn your trust.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have to
and
really.
so our little snap is not doing it.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
that's
good.
not.
That's
It's
not.
A
not.
public
Because now
apology
I-
would be a start.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
you're
if you,
publicly shaming, you can publicly apologize.
But
That's
my
the
thing is,
biggest
if you're
thing
doing
about it.
something that can ultimately affect your check,
It
you're
did.
canceled.
It did.
That's
what I'm saying.
You're canceled.
Done.
Like, no,
Done.
absolutely not.
See,
You're
When you
canceled.
said it earlier, I think you said it earlier, but when you're with a brand and you're, I think it was with the Nikki and stuff, when you stand for what's true, at the end of the day, my clients, my true clients that have worked with me for years was like, bleep, 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 you're full of bleep. Like at the end of the day, and this is
Exactly.
why. But there does come a time, I believe, you can let the fog rise or whatever you want to call it. There comes a time where sometimes you have to lay down the ball.
Yes.
That's
Because
right.
at one
Absolutely.
point I said, this is trash. Here are my receipts, because Jason keeps a box of them. So here's what really happened, and I don't want to hear anything else about it because I have no time for it. I'm too busy making checks while she sits there and chases them. Have a good day.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, any part of that, in my opinion, because I'm a spiritualist, that's just negative energy pulling
Yes.
you out.
Yes.
Pulling you
Yeah.
out. Like you said,
Yes.
I don't know if I would say boycott forgiveness. I'm gonna forgive you because you don't know what the heck you're doing. You look like a fool, but there will be a never ever another time that I'm going to be able to
Trust.
forgive you
Right.
because I don't want to give you a chance to.
Mm-hmm.
Because to forgive myself, I have to forgive you because I can't hold on to that energy.
Right.
If I'm holding on to that, it's a balance of things. A lot of people live around, I have a positive life and positive this, and you got to be positive. No, boo boo. Having too much positive does not constitute the balance of life.
Right.
You have to take that negative because the
Facts.
negative's there to teach you a lesson.
Facts.
Yes, so we boycottforgiveness.com, and currently Chris runs his blog off of there. But I totally understand when people say that, forgiveness, I gotta forgive you. I don't. I was almost gonna curse. I held back. I did.
Y'all, she been working on that too.
That was visceral.
Y'all, she been working on that. Trust me, because I've seen her live and she be going. And I'm like, ooh.
But
Y'all done made her mad.
we also have a podcast called Negative Vibes Only. And so because so many people have positivity, let's look at the bright side, or you gotta forget. No, it's time to set a tone
Yeah.
that is not necessarily politically correct
Yes.
or positive all the time. So
Yes.
that's why we do Negative Vibes Only. We take everything, see the brighter side of it, and we actually look at
Show the truth.
show the
Yes.
truth.
Yes.
Exactly. Y'all are talking about brands. My brand is, I guess if you would call it a brand,
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, it's about being true to what you're presenting and not being a hypocrite about it. If that's who you are, then that's who you are. That's what you're giving.
Right.
So, but
it's true. I mean, like, and that's the thing about it. You have to be true to who you are. Lakita's clients are winning right now because she's true to who she is, and she helps them to see what they're doing. She helps them to brand for real. Like, she's not just claiming that she's doing X, Y, and Z. And she might know one person. No, she has. I've been the very first event that I went to of hers. She had people talking about, I'm flying to New York tomorrow. I'm doing this and that. And these are all of her clients because of the fact that she has built that trust within them, and she has helped them to grow and thrive and do phenomenal things. Like, that's what people don't realize.
I want to hear more about
PR.
I want to hear more about what you said you were going to touch on this during the little break. I want to hear that.
The struggles of doing PR.
The bad and the ugly.
Let's hear it. Oh yeah, why are you leaving? Why are you getting up out of here?
I just feel like I've reached my peak here in Chicago. I feel like
Oprah.
I think I'm looking for a challenge now. I'm looking for a next step. Like, what's next for me? So I always told people I had like a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year goal. And within my 5 years, I wanted to move to LA. I'm 3 years in business right now.
Gotcha.
So I'm like, I think it's time for me. I'm gaining my intel. I'm in LA.
Yeah.
I love it there. And I'm like, I think it's
there.
everybody keeps saying that.
Like, I could see her like with 2 cell phones and an iPad right here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just showing that right now. You're gonna be on the Grammys tomorrow. Okay, I need your address. Can you hold on 1 second, Janet? Yeah. Okay. No problem. Just get back. All right, so J-Lo needs to come. I can see you doing that.
Alexis goes out there. She always said, "You're always working. You are always working." I bring my laptop, my iPad, and my cell phone everywhere I go. Everywhere I go.
My camera's right there.
Right.
My laptop.
Right. No, but I think it's just a next step for me. I love it here in Chicago, but I think I need a different scenery. And it's different because the clients that I have in LA, they are a lot more supportive. Not saying you guys are not clients. They are a lot more supportive in a way where it's like, I have one client, she's in LA. She's the founder of this magazine called Wear Your Voice. We talked. She was the very first person who did my a la carte service. Loved it. She brought like 5 people emailed me like, hey, check this girl out. Check Lakita out. Like, she has an a la carte service. You guys need to use her. Like, check her out. Like 5 people. Like within our first conversation. So I'm like,
that's awesome.
Thank you. You know, and then I have another client, Barry, went out to LA. He showed me a good time. But he was introducing me to people like, hey, you need to know her. Oh, you need PR? Oh, Lakita's the person. Like, that's what I'm like, okay.
Wait, I'm saying right now, I need PR.
Oh, we need to talk.
We
need to talk. Yeah. But I just feel like LA has a different type of grind. So when they see something that's good, they want to support it. You know, I know they get the fake connotation and everything, but I feel like Chicago is a type of city where it's like, oh, I have something good. I'm not about to help y'all out. Like, let me get I'm not about to help y'all out. Like, let me get to where I'm going.
Speaking real Danaya.
I will never come back to Chicago. The past 2 times I've came here has been horrible. And I'm talking about on all aspects. There are, and exactly what you're talking about. Because I had probably about 220 emails. You need to hold a class, or you don't hold a class? I'm like, I don't want to. And so I hold the class, and 4 people sign up.
Oh, no.
Now, if I did this in Atlanta, LA, Dallas, or New York, I'd be having to extend my classes. So it's like, and then I get back, like, because, I have minions everywhere. Right. And they're like, oh, they just didn't feel it was worth their time. I was like, oh, and this is where I'm shading. I went to those specific people's Instagram, and they're literally, like, doing the less. People do the most, they do the less, and I'm not talking about in a good way.
Yeah, no.
And that's the thing about it. That's the biggest problem that we have in this city, is the lack of support. That's why I started the hashtag CSOO. Don't even try to play that game. I started that one. If I ever claim Go ahead and go back like what's
Okay, so
8
what
years.
is CSOO?
Yeah.
stand for?
Chicago supports our own.
Oh,
So I
wow.
started that specifically
I
because
need that on a shirt.
Yeah.
That'd be cute.
I thought about it, but I definitely think I might do it because like the biggest thing about that, the reason I did that was because I kept on hearing that Chicago was the city of haters. You're talking to somebody that grew up in the industry, and the biggest thing that I was taught from a very, very young age was that you support independent artists, you support independent businesses, you support local talent, otherwise they won't be local. I'm gonna say it again right in the camera. You support independent businesses, you support independent talent, you support local talent, otherwise they will not be local, they will leave the city. Everyone that you claim you love will leave because you didn't show
That's
support.
why everybody is leaving.
Everybody is
Even
leaving.
I
Like,
saw
I don't.
an Instagram post and it said Chicago support popularity, not talent.
Woo!
And it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, that is so
Right.
true.
Absolutely.
So we're back in
That's
high school again.
We're
Yes.
back.
I
And
get
what
it.
I was saying about Kanika Jenkins, that's exactly what
What
happened.
happened. Yeah.
It was not about who was actually getting out there and telling the truth. It was about what was popular and what
And what was
looked
popular,
good.
what was going on. But what was so funny about that situation was as that fell apart, I know you was like this. Yeah, I tried to tell y'all people.
It's like
because-
I tried to tell you. Now where's my
When it-
apology? I literally
yes.
said, where is my apology?
Yeah.
Don't think that I haven't kept track of y'all. Because
Yep.
I have. And until you publicly, like you said,
Publicly
publicly
because you
apologize to
show
me like you
publicly-
publicly demonize me.
Right.
I'm still not gonna mess with you, but you
Yeah.
still need to apologize.
Because
And-
that was just crazy. Like
it is insane.
I was like,
It's
wait, I was
insane.
sitting here like, okay, let me go back and see because I'm not. This can't be the person that I think you're
I'm
talking
trying
about.
to tell you.
Like I was like,
and
was
it's
like,
only
following
gonna
the
get
case.
worse.
I was following
It's
the
only gonna
case.
get
Oh,
worse.
yeah.
I'm gonna let it.
I was
I'm
like,
gonna let
I
it
was
get
no.
like that.
I was like, no, this ain't the person they're talking about. Let me go ahead and see
They
this.
say about Chicago, it's crabs in a barrel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's,
So,
it's definitely
My thing is, with as much as politically messed up here,
Yes.
why aren't you mad at the barrel? Why are you? I'm another crab. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get out
That
too.
part,
I want
that
some
part.
sunshine. Why aren't we snapping at the barrel?
Right.
Why can't we do that? And so what that really frustrates me is this is a city of haters. My boyfriend moved here from DC.
Oh, shout out to DC. I lived there 17 years.
Shout out to DC. I love
Okay.
DC. I love DC. I really do. I love. He's from Silver Spring. I
Oh
love.
my God,
Silver-
my cousin's over there. That's awesome.
it's a beautiful
it's
area,
gorgeous.
beautiful
Not
people.
moving back to Maryland, by
He
the way.
came. Are you?
Exclusive.
I always need to see here in Azure anyhow.
And so he comes here. He's like, "What is wrong with y'all?" I'm like, "Listen,
Oh, you didn't warn him.
I tried to warn him. He didn't believe me.
Until he
It's
saw
the
it.
problem.
Here's
He's
the
like,
thing. Here's the thing. Because people that don't know me, y'all about to find out. So here's the thing with Chicago. This is the true thing about Chicago. Chicago is diverse, blah, 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 blah. It's incredibly segregated, and people are very, very deliberate about the segregation in this city.
I can't talk about that right now, but yes.
but yes."
We'll talk afterwards.
And
Oh,
even my boyfriend was like,
yeah.
"Y'all got real white racist people out here. Y'all got the real ones."
Yeah.
But it goes both ways.
Y'all
It does.
the
It
real
does.
ones.
Both ways. It does.
Hardcore.
It does. It does. It does. You know. And
Well, I can't agree with that. What do you mean? Racism goes both ways?
Mhm.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
go
yes,
both
it
ways.
does. And I have the
it's
receipts
it's
for it.
discrimination.
If
as opposed to
racism
Oh, no,
goes
it's-
both
it's
ways,
clear-
then we need to be
clear
speaking.
racism.
We need to be speaking Ubuntu in damn Swiss somewhere. Racism does not go both ways.
You think
If,
discrimination,
if
that is
racism
discrimination.
goes both ways, then I need to be able to Becky Suan needs to come to the job interview and be forced to wear an afro in order to get the job. Racism don't go both
It
ways.
does.
It
And the
does.
reason I
Just
say
because you
that-
feel that
Well,
way.
no, the definition of
doesn't
racism is discrimination upon one person's race into
The
another.
definition of racism,
Mhm.
you go on to Webster, you gonna tell me as a black woman, the
how many times I've
definition
had
of
this conversation?
racism comes
Being a
from
gay
Webster.
man who
Webster-
dates only
no,
black
no, no.
men and someone calling you a cracker, that is a racist statement. Is that not a racist statement?
It is not.
It's
It may,
So calling
it may
someone
be,
a cracker, that's,
it may be prejudice.
It's prejudice.
It may be prejudice, but it's not racist.
Because this is the
Racism
whole
requires
system.
power.
Right.
I
So it's
can't prevent
prejudice
you from
and
so
getting
you
a
don't think
job.
any black men have power in this world?
No.
You don't have. Listen, you need to subscribe to my channel.
I'm a listener
No,
because I like these
absolutely, yeah,
dialogues.
for
This
sure.
is
This is what I'm
reason
talking
these
about.
dialogues need to happen is so people can learn.
Yes,
Political
absolutely.
education.
Yes.
Because I
You-
have
see,
someone
here's the
like
thing.
this who's a best friend of mine, and I have someone who's completely on the other end.
Yeah.
And I hear both sides.
Yeah.
And hearing the
See,
conversation, at the
it's-
end of the
it's-
day, you're coming from your standpoint.
No,
coming
I'm
from
not. See,
my
that's the thing.
You are.
It's not my truth.
Because that's your experience.
It's not my experience. It's my mama's experience, her mother's
But that's
experience,
again their
her
experience.
mother's experience.
That is still theirs.
When you have an
Oh my God, I'm over this
institutional
song.
experience, then it's an institutional reality, not my opinion. So that's the problem. That's the problem.
I disagree.
Now
because
there
you're
can be
speaking on
some
a
black
social
folks
standpoint,
with prejudice. Absolutely. There's some rude black people that may not have a reason to be rude. But to say racism goes both ways is inaccurate, ahistorical, apolitical, and just not true.
I think you're
and
basing it off
disrespectful.
of your racial.
No, see, you're trying to make this
standpoint.
about me. It's not about me. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you.
Explain it to me then.
Institutional racism is real. If I have to explain the difference between somebody calling you a cracker and somebody's treating
Oh,
us
yeah,
the way
yeah.
that we are treated, and you don't get that, that's something about you that you need to reanalyze. You need a political education. If you
But I have a
think
political
if you think
education.
somebody calling
So
you a
I'm
name,
still trying to
if you
understand
think that
this.
somebody calling you a name is racist, you need to reanalyze
No,
what
I don't
racism
think it's
is.
calling the name. It's the principle behind it. And why they're calling me that
Racism
name.
requires power.
If you don't know me, you can't call me that. So
They
if you're calling it
but-
based off
but
the
they
color of my
will.
skin, that is racism.
But they will. No, racism.
Yes, it is.
That's not even according to your Webster dictionary.
It's prejudice as
of
opposed to
what
If
it
it's
is.
prejudice, it has to be something about knowing me. Like you have to know me to be prejudiced.
Prejudging.
Not
against
true.
me.
No, because you're prejudging. Because that means that you don't know someone. So like,
That's what
so like,
prejudice means.
right? So like,
Prejudgment.
so like the one thing when it comes to racism, the biggest thing about racism is that it is a system. Like it is a system.
When did it become a
that-
system, though?
That the whole ism period.
Let me state it like this. I understand
Right.
the world's climate on racism. I
Right.
know where the N word is derived from. I
Right.
know what slavery has done. I know that there's a difference between a black man going to a job and a white man going to a job. I know the difference that if a black man walks near a cop today, he is more fearful than a white man. I'm very aware of that.
Of course.
But what I'm saying, at the core, beyond all that, outside of all that, if me and this beautiful black woman walked outside and someone called her a name that is racist, that is racist.
Right.
That does not change the fact, because I'm a white man, that some saying the same exact word that's derogatory towards my race is not racist. That does not change that, no matter how you want to twist it and turn it and how big the actual climate of racism is. You call someone a name based on the color of their skin, it is racist.
Racism
Prejudice-
it's an absolute disrespect to me and every black person that's in this room for you to say that racism is about getting called a name based upon your complexion.
I'm not
And
saying
if
that's
you
what it's
date
about.
black men,
That-
it is your job to understand what racism is, because you will never be able to understand or love that black man the way that you think that you will. You will never be able to
I don't
do it
think that I
because
agree
you
with that.
can't
'Cause I
come
don't
out
think-
of
I'm
your
not saying-
whiteness.
I'm not trying to
You
diminish
can't
the
come
word.
out of your
I'm not trying to
whiteness.
diminish
Right.
the word, which I think you
You,
think I'm
but
doing.
you, but you are.
But I'm saying in
so
the
it doesn't
essence
matter
of
what
that
I
particular
think. It doesn't matter what I
situation.
feel. It doesn't matter about my experiences as an individual. As it is, it's not about a climate. Climates change. The climate today is gonna be 45 degrees, and tomorrow it might be 60.
Right.
But what we're dealing with is everlasting. It is not moving. It
Oh,
is
it's
not
not gonna
going
change. No, I agree
anywhere.
with that.
And that
But
is
again,
why
you're
I talk
speaking-
about political education, so
Right.
we can have prolonged resistance, so we
Right.
can have prolonged understanding. I'm not gonna sit up here and get mad because a white man reaches around the counter of McDonald's and grabs a black girl by her collar. I'm not gonna get mad then. I'm gonna get mad before his hands ever reach out, because I'm
I
gonna
agree with that. I
understand
agree with that
what
100%.
what it is that we're dealing with.
No, I
So
do.
no,
No, I do.
you're not
But
getting
you're
a racist
taking it-
attack. You don't know what it feels like to be under the thumb, under the fist, under the boot of racism.
No, you're right. I
You don't
absolutely
know
don't.
what
I
that feels
absolutely
like.
don't.
And you getting called a name, you're not going to be able to stop somebody from calling you a name. Even if
Oh
you
no, I
are
agree.
gay.
I agree 100%.
Even if you are gay. So that's something that you're going to have to figure out. Because it's not me. It's not my
But
not
no one
my
said that it was
understanding.
you. That's my
Right.
thing. You're taking it on a complex level where it's not.
Absolutely,
I
it
get
is.
what you're saying.
And that's
Right.
why
And I-
I'm
and I
here.
don't disagree
That's
with
why
that
I'm
in
sitting in
any
this
short-
seat right now, is
Right.
because
I'm
I
over the
take
phone.
it. I take it on a complex level. I pick it apart.
But that's you.
I pick it
But
apart.
that's you. Not
and
everyone and every black man in this America
And if
agrees
it's
with
up to
you.
me, it will
That's what I'm
be.
saying.
And if it's up to me, it
But
absolutely
but that's
will
the
be.
thing. At some point, it
For
has
every
to
black
meet some
person
kind
that
of
has a
even.
Bible next to their bed at night, I want to reach out into them to instill into them what we're dealing with. And it's not funny.
Let me ask you a
especially
question.
living in this city.
Let me shift that on that real quick because I do want to get back to that afterwards. Because
Okay.
these conversations help me
No,
learn.
but
So,
exactly.
but
It's about
shifting
learning.
that because you said the Bible and it just triggered something else someone was talking about the other day, and I don't know nothing about it because I'm a white man. I don't know about it.
Right.
Based on history, on what you guys know as your history as a black woman, as American, you guys have your own knowledge. Because I wasn't taught anything with African American history until I hit high school, and I forced myself to go in so that I could understand it.
Right.
Religion. Let's just shift. I know it's a long one.
Jesus.
What do you think about Christianity being hugely imparted on the African American community? 'Cause what I was taught, because this is just my friends are different from you and you're different from them.
Right.
He said, well, we don't believe in Christianity because that wasn't our original religion and that was impressed upon us by white people. I don't know nothing about that. So I don't have any other people to talk about that. Do you know
Christianity-
anything about that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's all a part of the same thing. It's all propaganda and it's
Yeah.
all propaganda bombs. Black people aren't the only victims of Christianity. White people are too. Because they were murdered, they were mutilated, they were raped, they were killed, they were separated from their white people, European people. Had the same exact thing done to them before European ever saw an African person. Before they saw a black person, Europeans did that to other Europeans. They had perfected that craft before they even got to Africa. So Christianity, Islam, whatever it is that you want to say, has been forced upon all people. And right now, if they took your tongue, they took your language, they took your husband, they took your daughter, that you constantly wake up every day and see your mother raped, and that's a part of life, and you know that once you turn 11 years old that it's going to happen to you, and
Right.
your parents are getting you prepared for that, but they gave you a Bible, they allowed you to meet in church. Now you couldn't and you couldn't
Couldn't
speak
really do
in your
nothing.
tongue,
Right.
right? You couldn't really, have that much freedom, but you could go to church.
Yes.
You could read this book. Now, that's not an attack against Christians.
It's
I feel like there's a lot of good Christians.
right.
A lot
I
of
agree.
good
But
Muslims.
the way that the state started was just a
But
mess, of
I
course.
mean, if you're going to read the Bible, you got to read all of it.
that part.
I think
That
that
part.
with me, when religion is imparted in people, for the most part, you ask the majority, they'll say, since I remember being a human, I had a Bible in my hand by my parents, or I was taught this is the way it was. And my friend said, well, let's take a step back. If I gave you the Harry Potter collection, and we lived away from major society, we live in
Right.
the country, I say,
Which is
study
fine.
this
Yeah.
happened, everyone's going to tell you it's not. A, B, C, D,
Racism
F,
is
G.
complex. It is complex. You're right.
That's
Absolutely.
religion. Would you
Right.
believe that Harry Potter actually exists? Would you believe and would you scream at you and yell, well, you're wrong because God is wrong because Harry Potter is real. So when he imparted that on me, I'm just sitting here like, well, okay, crazy. So that's what happened to us, and that's what happened to you. And it's like, what do you think you believed in before your ancestors were ancestors and ancestors? And then we went into
I was
conspiracy
raised
theories.
in the church. My father
Same,
was a
same.
pastor.
Well,
My
I was raised
boyfriend's
in the
mother
church.
is currently a reverend. My father died some years ago. But the one thing, thank you. The one thing that you have to understand, the reason why I say I'm controversial is because I don't, I don't even know if I can say that word. I don't walk on eggshells
Right.
when
Right.
it comes to this. I don't
You
know
speak
how
your
long.
mind.
I don't know how long I'm gonna have to live.
Yeah.
I don't know what I could walk outside
And
right
yeah.
now and go to my
Yeah.
car and get hit by a
Yep.
truck. So I'm gonna say what needs to be said right now.
Yeah.
And
Make an
a lot
impact.
of time my passion, like I don't hate you.
Right. But it's the
I don't hate
passion.
it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't feel that.
Yeah.
No.
I don't dislike
and I don't take it as an argument. I take it as a learning lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Because
how
it's a
be.
reality, and I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I do have a lot less patience for white people. I do. I got
No,
a lot less patience.
I'm white and I do too. So I get it. Like, I think what I was trying to convey to you is like these conversations help me learn.
They need
I
to
have
happen.
a learning
Exactly.
disability. So
They need-
when
they
someone
need to
says
happen,
it
though.
a different way, maybe she Patch may not say it, but you might say, well, what she was trying to say is, well, I still don't get it. And you can be like, listen.
This how.
I've heard.
But that's the biggest
But
thing
then
about it. Like
that lets me
most
teach
people,
somebody else.
exactly,
Mhm.
and that's
Correct way
and
of
that's
saying.
and that's the thing. It's like we have to be able to have these conversations.
Healthy conversations.
Like you have to be able to because what happens is if you don't, it becomes a whole little mess on
Pause you
Facebook.
1 second.
Yeah.
As a white person, you also have to be open and listen with an open mind.
Thank God.
Because that's what I'm doing. I might retract, but I'm saying it because I want her to understand where I'm coming from. But some white people are like, whatever. I didn't say at one point, whatever.
The
I'm
most
listening.
racist, one of the most racist white men I've ever met was my ex-boyfriend.
What?
And I didn't understand. Now, he used to say the same thing. My girlfriend's black. I date black women. It meant
That don't mean
absolutely
nothing.
nothing.
No.
Yeah.
It meant nothing. But see, I was 20 years old. I'm 21 years old.
Yeah.
And in my head, all lives matter. Because I'm a
Right.
humanist.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love people.
Yeah.
When I got arrested for Occupy Chicago, it was
Right.
all people until I
Man.
realized that woman holding the sign next to me wasn't fighting for me. She was fighting for her job.
Yeah.
When I realized that the man that I was dating, he didn't really love me. He loved my mind. He loved what I knew. He loved my perspective. He loved a whole lot of other things.
Right.
So when he wrote the book that he did and published the book and I read it and it was my words.
Oh.
That's when
What?
I knew what was going on.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
when I figured it out. So
Oh,
he's
yeah.
an activist, he's a revolutionary, and right now he's over in Indiana teaching black babies. And it breaks my heart because I can't
Yeah.
really do anything right now. It'll come a time.
Right.
But so that right there, that triggered something inside of me. I date black men. If you have a man in your life right now that's black, you got to be able to truly understand him. And if you love him,
But you know, I think the problem
your
with that is
benefit
he doesn't
to
even know
benefit-
himself. Like,
Oh,
he loves
man.
himself, but
Look.
he's still. I mean, that goes into
That's a whole nother
the
area.
trauma.
Yeah,
The
that's
trauma.
Yeah.
But again.
and I was
I
that
think
I
it's-
was that person.
I think you have to dissect why someone will say that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because I'm dating a black person, I know everything about black culture and I know everything that a black man goes through, because being a white person, I'll never know.
Right.
I can understand in a sort of sense being gay and seeing it, but I'll never
Never
know
know.
what it's like. So that I have to put out. But saying dating a black man and saying I need to tell you that this is who I date and this is who I am with, so I can see it. But hearing it from another perspective as a woman, who, you get what I'm saying? It gives me another perspective on how to kind of speak
About it.
and things. But even still, I won't know everything. You won't know everything. You won't know everything until we reach wherever we go after we
Right.
pass away. But I think the discussions have to happen.
Oh, yeah.
They have to
Oh,
happen
yeah.
because if they don't happen in this kind of form, what happens is they happen on social media, and then what happens is that it'll be a video, and then what happens is that somebody throws into a maggot group, and there's nothing but hate going on, and you have the real
There's
conversation.
no hate in this
And
room.
people-
This is all
absolutely
love.
not.
Love.
This is all love. Y'all already know me. Like I cut mics off if things get crazy. That's how, I'm that person. I'm that person. I already know. I know Chyna. I've watched her. I know that she is incredibly
I'm already in love
passionate.
with this woman.
Yeah.
She's
Like, I already
incredibly,
am.
she's incredibly passionate. I will go on record and say y'all lied on this woman.
Yes.
Clearly, and I can't wait till y'all apologize, because I can't wait till y'all figure out how shady dude is. Like, it is insane. I'm sitting here watching it like, oh my god. And like, we had time when we were not that close. So I couldn't even reach out and be like, girl, let's go get a drink. You see
Because
what crazy?
I
You didn't
couldn't
know.
even check my
know.
inbox.
I
It was
understand.
disgusting.
I
It was
know.
crazy.
I feel you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so now I'll sit up there and be like, oh no, you're not gonna do this. You're not gonna do this. Because I know
Not
exactly.
gonna do
I know
that.
exactly what
Yeah,
it is.
I refuse
And like
to
I said,
can that situation.
what was so funny was when all the chips started falling down, I'm just like, see, you should have listened to what she was telling you, because the passion in her voice when you spoke about that case, because you cut that video off. You said that was like the third time that you had recorded that. It was like a 15-minute video, and the passion in your voice told me that you knew exactly what was going on, and you knew something wasn't right.
A lot of people wouldn't have been hurt if they had just calmed down.
Yeah.
And now they're still dealing with the ramifications of that.
Yeah. There's a
And
lot.
so I think that Che Guevara said, and this is paraphrasing, revolutionary act should always be done out of love.
Yes.
So everything that I do is out of love.
Yes.
And ultimately love of human beings as a whole.
Yes.
But as you say, the climate that we're in, me being effective is talking to Black people
Yes.
about Black issues
Yes.
and making that understood. I don't ban. I would argue 25% the people who watch me on YouTube are white. And even one day I went to a taco place in Wicker Park, And this white girl comes up to me.
Right. You talked about that situation.
And she's like, I'm pregnant with my black boyfriend's baby. And I thank you for having these conversations so that I can be a part of and try to understand what I'm going to be going here.
You're gonna be getting some emails from me.
Yeah.
I want to understand and make sure that I'm not being a dick. This is the situation.
You know what? It's just being with someone that you can communicate with honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the problem that I'll never be in another interracial relationship. Never. Ever. I'm with a light-skinned dude, and that's pushing it. But
I want to talk about that really fast when you get a second, though.
But it's because I need somebody that truly understands me.
Yes.
Truly understands me. I can't sit there and explain. I remember one time, and I'm gonna be real quick. I remember one time, or oftentimes, when I was with my ex, we would be walking down the street. And he's like, "Why are you always looking behind you?" Because I gotta be aware of my surroundings.
Yeah.
So what's up?
That's so
You
true.
can skip down the street if you want to,
But
I need to know who's behind me
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
But I appreciate you guys having this conversation because my client, Ravni Vora, she said these words. With her magazine, she has a feminist ran publication. She talks about, women of color. She talks about LGBT community.
Yes.
She said you have to have uncomfortable conversations
Yes.
in order to make change, in order
Yes.
to learn.
Yes.
You have to create these uncomfortable conversations
Yes.
in order to instill knowledge into other people in order to make change.
Oh.
So because I just learned a lot watching you two go back and forth.
Yeah.
I learned a lot because I'm like, I'm still in the process of learning who I am about
Yes.
our Black culture. I'm still, because like
That's
you
right.
said,
Yeah.
I didn't learn about African American history. We didn't even
They-
learn about that in high school.
Yeah.
We had to take that
Just
into
Black
college.
History
Oh,
Month. That's
yeah.
all we
Black
got.
History
That's
Month.
all we got.
And that's
And the
it.
same five
So,
people in
you know?
every rip. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and so, man.
Yeah.
I want to get on Blast Out because I can't
Oh,
I didn't learn.
Yeah,
about
we
any
need to
of
do a
that
part
until
two.
We got to do a part.
That'd be the only reason I come back to
We got to.
Because these women in here
Yeah.
are powerful.
You
This is
can
the only
actually do
reason.
You can actually do a part two from New York because we can bring you one on live stream.
Y'all
It's
come right on
it's
over.
right. You know what I'm saying? But so before we get on out of here, because I'm about to get cussed out because I'm about to go over. But I need everybody to go ahead and put out their social media so y'all can follow these fabulous people. Okay, this was amazing. And Chyna, please go first.
You can find me at ChynaFox.com, ChynaFox, and everywhere else, ChynaFox, YouTube.com/ChynaFox. I am Chyna Fox on Instagram, and boycottforgiveness.com. So we got a lot of things going on. And go check out Nubians for Literacy, where we meet once a week in Hyde Park and study and prepare. And we're growing an institution. And come on, Chicago, be a part of it.
Absolutely. Jason, go ahead and tell her who
Really easy, just go on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, The Real Jason MC.
Awesome.
Hey guys,
Chyna,
you
go
can
ahead.
find me on Instagram, last name _PR. You can also check out Studio 25's website, which is s25media.com. And I'm also launching a prep school program for entry level and ambitious publicists called Prep Schools. It'll be prep-school.live.
Absolutely. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, and Snapchat at Danaya Azure. That's DANAYA AZURE, like the Facebook page, facebook.com/Danaya Designs for You, facebook.com/K First Entertainment. Grab your copy of HFL Magazine at www.k4sent.com, facebook.com/Danaya Azure Radio. And now make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Danaya Azure. That was incredible. I love every single one of you. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you missed it, y'all better go back on Facebook, go back on YouTube, because it's all on there. And be amazing. Be incredible. Be yourself. Express yourself. Express the things that make you unique. That's the biggest smile that we have for the Night Designs for You, because it's about going beyond yourself and helping other people to grow and helping other people to thrive. That's why it was incredible. Y'all don't understand. I literally got a phone call from him yesterday saying he wanted to come on, but that changed the whole dynamic, because now he got to come here and learn something that he wouldn't have learned otherwise, connect with people that he wouldn't have connected with otherwise, well, at least not right now. You never know what's gonna happen. To learn, be willing to listen, be willing to listen more than you speak. We could cure so many issues in this country if we just listened more than we spoke. There is so much drama going on YouTube right now because people are not listening more than they're speaking, and they're hurting people. And for what? And for what? What is that gonna accomplish? Nothing. Because believe me when I say tomorrow is not promised.
Hey.
Make someone smile today. Make someone laugh today. The golden rule is not broken. Treat someone the way that you want to be treated. All right, you guys, in Azure Radio, WinterCityUnderground.com, your music, your station. Love you.
So,
Black love, black peace,
Kat
black
sent me a
love.
photo and she goes, I know this is your current mood.
Bye, y'all.
I'm sorry, what? After 20 tries to do what?
Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I love
Yes.
it. Hey, hey,
Really
little.
snatched.
Hey. Hey.
How am I offline?
What's your Instagram?
You'll probably have to look my name up, Jason, and the last name is MCQUAIN. So I wanted to say it online, but we were in heated discussion, but Avery Wilson was on watching us,
Oh, awesome.
and he put on Amber Riley, and she was watching our live. Frankly,
Oh
they got on for like 2 seconds.
She did that
Wow. That's
Beyonce cover.
Yep.
I ain't got nothing.
Yeah,
Oh.
she's a
Oh,
beast.
you did.
Okay, YouTube, thank you all for tuning in.
Oh, we were still
Yeah,
going.
we're still going on
Yeah,
here.
you gotta say it like she says it. I don't know much about
That's so dope.